Hi, good morning. Welcome to the PuckHeads, and this is the Future Selection Edition. And with me, as always, is Andrew McGinnis. And Andrew, 4 teams left, two in the East, 2 in the West. So we have slim pickings as far as our futures are concerned. But it looks like the Pittsburgh Penguins, and rightfully so, is at 13-10. They are the first selection. And is there anything about the Penguins that makes you feel like, yeah, I want to put a few dollars down on the Pens?
Definitely, this Pittsburgh Penguins team, they're not going to be challenged at first by this Ottawa Senators team until maybe one spark happens or one little thing happens in this Ottawa Senators team. But coming into tonight, Dana, it's really all the pressure on this Ottawa Senators team. Usually you'd say the pressure is on the better team. Right now, it's all about what they can throw at the Pittsburgh Penguins. We all know what the Penguins are capable of doing. We all know what they did against the Washington Capitals. Now it's really the question, like I said yesterday, in our preview video for this conference finals, is how much will a factor of this Ottawa Senators team, how much will they do against this Pittsburgh Penguins team? Because I think you and I both mentioned that we're not interested, even though it's good money, in laying any money on the Ottawa Senators. So definitely the Pittsburgh Penguins are worth the money, worth the shot. Once they got through that Capitals team, they're rolling right now. Marc-Andre Fleury is playing great. I think he'll continue to roll. We're not going to see any of Matt Murray, let's face it. Marc-Andre Fleury is rolling. All 4 lines for this team is rolling. And, they're getting healthier each game. Surprisingly, if Crosby and Hagelin can stay healthy, I don't think we're going to see any of Letang, but it doesn't really seem to be affecting them so far.
What would be interesting, Andrew, and tell me if you might want to do this. Let's watch game 1 and let's watch game 2. And let's see if Ottawa gets one. Especially if they get the first one, then that number might come down a little bit for the Penguins and give you a little bit more value. But right now, with the public basically expecting the Penguins to win this in 5 and 6 at the most, that 13-10 is not really giving you much bang for your buck. But honestly, too, I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm going to put some money on Nashville, or put some money on Ottawa because I'm going to get a bigger return. Well, you don't get a bigger return on ripped up tickets. So, I'm like, okay, well, that's a great, these guys that say, well, I'm going to, bet team A because, I'm getting a plus $1.85 back. No, you're not. You're not getting anything back. So, as far as the Penguins are concerned, for me, they are the best team remaining. I've said it for 2.5 months, even before the trade deadline, and of course after the trade deadline, you want to see where everything falls. But the pickup of Ron Hainsey has been absolutely phenomenal. Probably one of the better pickups at the trade deadline that nobody is talking about. There was so much talk about Shattenkirk going to Washington. Nobody said anything about Hainsey, and he's fit in there perfectly for a Pittsburgh Penguins team that needed a little bit more toughness. Go down now to Nashville at 9-2, and also at 5 times you can get them at plus $1.75. 1-0 over the Ducks right now, and of course that win was on the road. Is Nashville, in your mind, I mean, obviously they have the upper hand in the Western Conference. Is that a team that you might want to, put some money on at this point, or do you want to wait until after game 2?
Yes, I've actually already placed a couple of futures and given out a couple of futures on the Nashville Predators. I just think that this Anaheim Ducks team, they've really been pushed by the Edmonton Oilers, and hats off to them by the way they played in that game 7. They really settled things down into their own way. But watching last night, Dane, and even when the Anaheim Ducks tied things up or when things went into overtime, I just felt like everything that the Ducks were throwing at the Predators are bouncing right back. They were aggressive as well. They could play defense. They get the puck out of their end very smoothly. They could attack, get pucks deep. Pekka Rinne, John Gibson is not going to stop 45 shots a game. We can all say that right now. Pekka Rinne is not going to stop that many a game either, but I can't expect John Gibson to really stand on his head every single game. If they get that many shots every game, Dana, can you really expect that game to be that close?
Yeah, isn't it crazy though, Andrew? The regular season, again, and this to me is the biggest point. There are some games where you have teams getting 7-8 shots a game, which is kind of unheard of, or 7-8 shots, through first or second period or second and third period, which is kind of unheard of in the regular season, but not unheard of in the postseason. But then you have teams putting up 40 to 45 shots, which is definitely unheard of in the regular season. So yeah, you really, when you get to the postseason, have to rely on your netminders, and that's kind of when I handicap. I got to say, okay, first things first, who's your goaltenders? Because yeah, you might face 18 shots tonight, but you also might face 45, and I have to have complete confidence that you're going to be able to handle that. That's why I know a lot of people are saying, well, the minute Matt Murray is ready to go, he's got to be in there. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Fleury's not like this. This is not a 1-in-2 situation here. This is a 1-in-1A situation. We went through the other day, and I said Fleury could probably start for at least 80%. Well, we'll say 20 of the 31 teams in the National Hockey League. We know he could start for Vegas. Cross my fingers. This guy is a bona fide superstar, and he is a guy that you could run to the Stanley Cup. And there was the example that was given. Well, remember when Scott Darling came in a few years ago for Corey Crawford and ignited them and lit them on the way to their Stanley Cup? Yeah, that's fine. This is not going to happen in this situation. They got two great goaltenders, and that's one of the reasons I said from number one. Okay, and I didn't know how good Pekka Rinne was going to be, because Pekka Rinne is up and down. That's kind of been his label. Only recently has Pekka Rinne been the guy that we saw a few years back. But to me, the Pittsburgh Penguins are the number one selection. You can also get Anaheim at 4-1. You can get Ottawa at 7-1. There is also, I'm looking now, if you go to the Penguins series, if it ends in 5, it's plus 211, 385, plus 385 for the Pens to win in 6. And it looks like for the Ducks and the Penguins, and yeah, I'm trying to read this on the side. It's all kind of joke, but anyway. So Ottawa and Anaheim. I mean, is there any value just in either one of these teams at this point, with Pittsburgh being such a definitive favor and Anaheim also being down 1-0 already?
I think there definitely is value in it, Dana. But as far as things go right now, you don't always want to take the favorites, because of course the money isn't there and the value isn't always as extraordinary as the underdogs would be. But right now I'm looking at Predators versus Pittsburgh Penguins. I'll continue to say that on this show with you, and there's reasons why, and I've continued to back it up. This Predators series versus the Ducks, it starts with the point. It starts with the blue line shots. It starts with Roman Josi. It starts with PK Subban, Ryan Ellis, Ekholm, all these players that are just playing out of their minds and getting shots on net. Like you and I spoke about how important getting shots to the net are, right? Well, I think the most important part is actually making good shots and good, the new stat they're developing now in the NHL is a dangerous scoring opportunity, where it's not just a flutter puck right into the goalie's trapper. It's actually a good opportunity. And I think that's what the Predators do. They don't just shoot the puck for the sake of shooting it. They usually do it with a purpose, to get a rebound, to get it down bottom corner, top left corner, get a tip or deflection, in that kind of sense. So I think the edge for the Predators is just their depth all around. If you do want to take a shot, it definitely wouldn't be with the Ottawa Senators. I would say it would be with the Ducks, simply because of Ryan Getzlaf and then the supporting cast. And if somehow Gibson can continue to support his team and stop that many shots a game, Dana, then it's a possibility. Right now, I'm looking at plus 270 for the series to end in 5 in the Pittsburgh Penguins series versus the Ottawa Senators. Now, that would be a challenge for them. I'm not trying to discredit this team of the Ottawa Senators and say it's going to be a walk in the park, but that's a pretty good line. And looking at that right now, plus 270, you see the way this Pittsburgh Penguins team comes out tonight, that could really decide your fate and really, if you take this bet tonight before this series starts and you see Pittsburgh coming out flying, you're going to feel pretty good right about after that game, feel pretty good about that bet. So I'm interested in that. 5 is definitely pushing it. 6 might be a good bet if you really like the Ottawa Senators to even get 2 games, but I'm going to lock in that at 5 for myself.
Yeah, and for me as well, Andrew, it's really about the team that scores the first goal, because if Ottawa gets on the board first, they go into that 1-3-1 and makes it very difficult for you, for opposing teams going through the transition or going through the neutral zone. So, and that brings up a great point too, Andrew, and we'll end this in a second. But I want to get on NHL.com and see a QS, and that means quality shots. Why can we not have that category? I mean, that seems like it's so easy. I have this argument all the time about shots on goal and how much they mean in the grand scheme of things. And in one of my buddies said, well, shots on goal mean absolutely nothing. Well, I think they mean something, but I think the quality shot stat would mean a lot more. And oh, by the way, while we're at it, if a puck hits the post, can we please count that as a shot on goal? Because I saw a shot on goal from the corner last night that Gibson came out and made the save on, that never was going to go in, but was counted as a shot on goal. So you're telling me a shot that hits hits the post is the same as hitting the jumbotron? It's not the same. Your goaltender got beat. Let's count it as an actual shot on goal. Okay, there you have it. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us on the Puckheads. It sounds like you're on Pittsburgh and Nashville. You can get those. You can get Pittsburgh at plus or minus $1.43 right now. Nashville plus $1.75. And then, of course, when those two teams win and we're right about everything we say, we'll have a Stanley Cup Finals preview as well. Andrew, have a great day. Best of luck, and thanks for joining the Puckheads.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.